Hey everybody, welcome back. You're in the gym. Had to move this operation from out of the shop. It's loud and things are getting in the way. But today I want to talk about gun control because that's what they're talking about in Washington State. Now, I've already been through the re-education camp, so I'm going to paint this in a really positive light and say, gun control, common sense gun control could be a good thing. That's the way they like to present it. And I agree. Common sense gun control, if that results in people not having weapons at all, well, that's up for you to decide. We got to be on point on this video. If you know what I'm trying to do and you like what I'm trying to say, please hit the like button and subscribe and ring the bell and do all that other stuff because this happened in history. This is not a new thing. We're going to cover some of that towards the end of the video, but hey, it all starts with common sense for our safety. Now let's go to Washington because those good red-blooded Americans that are running that state want the best for everybody, and it is My Lynn Thigh and Liz Berry. They're the good red-blooded Americans I'm talking about. Bill 2238 would create an 11% tax on the retail sales of ammunition. Wow. Okay. Because it's a privilege. The language of the bill classifies it as a privilege. It's not a right, guys. You know, that that old Constitution that the wisest men led by God wrote. We need to get away from that, and when you start thinking about what's a privilege and what's not, we're allowed to do these things. It's not your right. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says. The state reason behind the proposal is to help reduce gun violence. But wait a minute. 7 out of every 10 gun deaths in Washington are suicides. That really took me by surprise. 69% of the firearm related deaths were suicides. Gabby Giffords has 5 other measures we're going to cover. Bill 1902 would require, similar to concealed carry carriers, to just regular gun buyers. Live fire training, fingerprinting, mandatory. That's a mandatory prerequisite that obtain a permit. So you're going to have to do all that just if you want a gun. So it's going to be a little harder for people to get those guns because we can't have people running around killing themselves. Or the gun did it. Maybe the gun shot them in the head. I don't know. But there's no way they'd find another way to kill themselves if they had their mind made up. If they didn't have the weapon, they wouldn't do it. Bill 2118. Firearm dealers would have to install alarms, surveillance systems, and review and respond to trace requests within 24 hours. Wow. Talk about kill a day. That's going to really eat them up. That's going to make it that much harder to be in business. I told you the story about what happened to my friend. It really freaked me out. Maybe I'll tell it later. Bill 2054. The bill would prohibit them from selling or transferring more than one firearm to an individual within a 30-day window. 1903. Victims of firearm theft must report it within 24 hours. Failure to do so is going to be a $1,000 fine. Bill 2021 would essentially authorize Washington State, this is a good one, guys, to destroy privately owned guns in the custody of government entities. Not authorized to destroy before, but they were allowed to sell and trade them. Oh, okay. So that probably won't go. There's no money in crushing things, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on in Washington. I've got some other stuff over here, but guys, I am so far in YouTube jail. I just don't want to share too much. I took some notes from an article that was off gun control measures were no, that's not it. That's about the history I'm going to share with you. Here are the key facts about gun control death in the United States. This is by Pew Research. Check it out. 54% of gun-related deaths were suicides. Unreal. Boo on guns. The rate of gun deaths per 100,000 people in 2021 were the highest in the early 90s. However, it's still below the peak rate of 1974. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? So I'm gonna let you go through that on your own. Um, but it's just stats about mass shootings, and you'll enjoy it. Now, what happened in history? Like I'm from the future. Maybe I'll change the dates around. Gun registry was implemented in 2020. Oh, wait a minute. 1920. Law-abiding citizens complied with these registration laws. They're good citizens. They complied. In 1931, the evil plans of the takeover were discovered. That happened. Wow. So they got to do that first. I think Hitler made a quote about that too, didn't he? Seized power in 1933 and used the gun registration records to identify, disarm, and attack political opponents, especially the Jews. Gun licenses were revoked. Others deemed politically unreliable. Okay, so they deem these people politically unreliable. And that's how they said, hey, no mas. So this is, I got to paint this on a positive light. I keep forgetting. This could be a good thing, Hey, if you're the people that are doing the bad, then it's good. I don't know how good these algorithms are. The Jews were ordered to surrender all their weapons, and the police had the records of those who had registered them. But it wasn't that bad. They only got to spend 20 years in concentration camps. I'm sure they had all the amenities. Just, guys, it's hard for me to even say the stuff I'm saying, but this is completely against the Constitution. We've got some real trouble that has already come across the border, and that's here. And I'm not talking about people that want the best thing for us and our country. I'm talking about people that are sent here, that were, but with big money. They were sent here with big money, and they're shipping them all over the country. Our government is, and this kind of news is crazy. It's hard to talk about, especially here. But just know it's another step, and I assume in the future there's going to be a hotline you can call or text that'll give you a reward for filling them in on who's got these things, so you can do your part to help. That's just me thinking out loud, but it's crazy. We live in some crazy times, and these people are not going to let up. So, guys, have an awesome day. Later.